Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This video is about how I lost 65 pounds without dieting in 2.5 years. Well, basically I was programmed to be fat since I was like 7. I was programmed to be fat. We'll make that long story short. So here I am, and in the summer of 2015, I had, supposedly I had 2 heart attacks, and I lived through them, but I had a blockage that needed to be dealt with, and the medical doctor said, oh no, it can't be reversed with diet, which I found out isn't true. And I thought it wasn't true. But supposedly, they know. Anyway, I shouldn't say anyway, I should say going forward, I got out of the hospital and I ended up, instead of losing weight, I was 308 pounds, which was almost the heaviest I've ever been in my life. The heaviest I've ever been in my life was when I was pregnant with Nicholas and my first child in 1990 to 91. And I was 316 right before I went into labor. So anyway, I was 308 pounds at the day I went to my cardiologist to follow up after they put a stent in. And I got home and all I did was gain weight after that. I didn't have any money because I had been laid off at the retail job that I had for 3 years after after my livery business was killed by Uber in 2012. And I was very depressed, and I was living on food boxes, and I just gained weight. And I got up to 347 pounds. Well, come around to, and I honestly don't know if it's really December 2015 or December 2016 that I decided to go vegan. Not only had I gained 308 pounds, yeah, I've gained 308 pounds over my lifetime, that's for sure. But no, not only was I up to 347 pounds, I still had all these symptoms that could come under inflammation and edema that I had before these supposed heart attacks. And they never went away, and I felt like, oh my God, I just can't move. I couldn't move. I was like landlocked for all these years. And it was painful to just walk across the street. I didn't have a car for a couple of months because I had this old Lexus that I bought from somebody I should have been able to trust, because that's another story. And it turned out to be a rollback odometer, and I ended up having to sell it for labor. For another long story. So anyway, so I was carless for a while. And then finally I ended up with both a Select car and a Prius the same week. So I was able to go back to work. But anyway, going back to this, the diet thing, I didn't diet. I just, I decided that I wanted to try going vegan because it was healthier and supposedly I could lose weight this way. And I ended up gaining weight. Well, I ended up losing 20 pounds of water the first time. But what I found over time was I couldn't maintain this. And I would go back to eating meat. And a year later, I had lost 20 pounds. I had managed to keep that 20 pounds off. I did not really diet, but I tried to focus on eating less meals with meat and dairy and more vegan meals. And I also started working on all the head stuff. I I've been on diets. Like I said, I've been programmed to be fat, so I'm familiar with every diet on the planet. So, what was my biggest problem was like I wanted it now, and I couldn't lose the weight fast enough, and that would discourage me. So I decided to look in the mirror and accept everything as it was and be happy with that. And I just said, fuck it. This is what I look like, and I'm gonna like it, and I'm gonna love it, and I'm okay like this. And this is my body. And I decided that I'm just gonna start changing one habit a day. Um, in terms of making a better decision. And at that point, what I started drinking a green drink for breakfast when I woke up in the morning instead of eating a meal. And that started, that helped start flushing things out and detoxing me. And at the same time, I also started listening to healing frequencies, which made a really huge difference. I listened to a healing frequency that I cannot find anymore, but it was here on YouTube and it was free, but it got rid of about 85% of my candida. I knew eventually it was going to come back a little bit, and it has. But it also, with what I'm doing at this point in the game, which I'll get to at that part of the story, I'm going to detox from it again. So I'm not worried about that. So yeah, I decided, all right, first of all, I'm going to be okay with exactly how I am. Okay, and then a friend sent me a video with Darren Hardy, author of The Compound Effect, speaking at an ACN conference. And I didn't know at first he was speaking at an ACN conference, but he's the editor of Success Magazine, and he also has, been I wouldn't say he endorses that company, but they've been featured in that magazine, and when you're a member, when you're an independent agent for that company, you get a subscription to the magazine, or at least you did when I was when I was in that one. So moving right along, I watched the video and I got it. And I started doing that. I just started changing this one thing. And I didn't allow myself to beat myself up if I like had a binge day or a binge week or a binge month. Every day I just focused on this is what I want to do today. And some days I decided to eat really healthy and some days I didn't. But the point was to keep eating one meal at a time, make a healthier choice over a long period of time. And that's pretty much what I did. And again, like I said, there were times that I did, well for a few days, and times that I didn't do well for a day or a month. And yes, last August, I weighed in, I think, at 241. And at the last year, I got down to 328. And I'm just mentioned there were like milestones in terms of like I would get to a certain weight and then I would stay there for a while, but I would never gain it back. Even if I went to my old eating habits, I wouldn't gain it back. I would stay where I was. And part of that is because, yes, even though I kept going back to my old eating habits, I kept changing my eating habits more often, one meal at a time. Inclusive of times where I intermittent fasted, meaning that I would eat only 1 or 2 meals that day. And they were kept, in between, that's my back. They were kept between, an 8-hour period rather than being stretched across, for more hours of the 24 hours. And let's see, the last time I'd actually gotten down to that 308 again. And by this time, I felt that I was pretty much on a roll of I'd lost, this much weight and counting, and that I was doing good. And I started really feeling that the new information that I'd fed my brain and reprogrammed myself was starting to pay off. Because I started really getting a sense that, oh yeah, I have let go of old stuff with this weight, and that's why I'm going to be able to keep it off. And that every time that I hit a plateau like that, I have felt that I have gotten to a point where, again, it reinforces the fact that I don't have to beat myself up because it's not happening fast enough, but that I got to that point and I'm never going to weigh more than that number ever again. And that's a motivation to, again, keep going back to one meal at a time, making a better choice. And then not worrying if, like, for a week I have McDonald's. Because there were times, there was a wide period of time, probably like the last, 6 of the last 8 months, that I was eating McDonald's bacon double cheeseburgers every night for dinner. I'd order 2 or 3 of them. And that would be my meal for the day with my coffee. And then I would grab a sandwich at QT at about midnight or 1 o'clock, because if I didn't, I would crash and burn and go home early. So now come like 2 months ago, again, more things are happening. And I'm getting more motivated to make changes. And so I kicked it up a notch. I went on keto. And I'm going to say in the last 6 weeks, I've probably lost 25 pounds. And I've eaten some plant-based shakes that have sugar, natural sugar in them, um, or something, 9 grams of sugar. So I've had 18 grams of sugar from a plant-based shake that was I was having a sugar craving, and I ate that. But it's pretty easy to get back on track with the keto I've been doing. I really want to get more plant-based again, because eating meat, I'm not happy with my digestion. My digestion is much better, and I'm and much more efficient and reliable when I'm eating plant-based food. Um, and I do incoming call. I don't know who it is, but I'm not answering it, so it might be blocking the view on the video. It's getting time to wrap this up anyway. 16 minutes. I'm trying to keep my videos shorter than that. And again, so everybody knows, the reason I have trouble speaking is because I don't have any teeth because of botched dental surgery. And then they couldn't fit me for dentures properly, and I'm in the middle of trying to get that done. And because I was interrupted by an incoming phone call. I don't remember where I was. So I kicked it up a notch. I lost 25 pounds, I'm going to say, over the last 6 weeks, and it's pretty easy to get back on track. I am concerned about when keto can go wrong is when you get too acidic. And I can tell by my bowels that have been, there have been a few days when I've been really acidic. And thinking about that, I know I can get alkaline water in the supermarket. So I've been buying that. And, when I'm there, I grab a few. So I'm drinking some alkaline water. That seems to have helped a little bit. But I'm aware of that, and I will consult somebody who is a medical professional that will know what the correct way to counteract that, or preventative action to counteract that. So, alright, I'm at 18 minutes. I better wrap this up. So, I weighed in at $185 pounds at my regular physicians, who I've been going to for over 20 years now. I weighed in at not 185, at 285 the other day, and counting, because I won't gain it back. It's downhill from here because I've let go of a lot of stuff, and I'm continuing to let go of stuff. And I need to be able to get on a horse again. So I'm getting more motivated, and also the better I can walk and move now, the more motivated I'm getting. So I'm doing good. And the way I'm losing is I'm doing the keto, and I'm eating meat, and I'm eating dairy. And yeah, I made a decision. I want to start eating more bulk vegetables than bulk meat and cheese. Because I know from past experience that it'll make a huge difference in my digestion, which is a direct contributor to when I suddenly, flinched in pain that you saw right on this video. That is because as too much stuff that's difficult to process in your system because it's really dense and heavy, and doesn't have a lot of water in it, it causes the intestines to compress, or the ascending or descending colon to compress, and then that causes it to hit nerve pain, and therefore, like, I get jerked with excruciating pain in my lower back. But the more green stuff and bulk I put in my body from vegetables, not beans, not corn. I do not eat beans and corn. If I eat corn, I eat it totally alone, like a fruit. And if I eat beans, I only eat them with green vegetables. Because that's for another video. But yeah, so that's that for today. Probably in a month I'll make another update on this about where I am weight-wise and how I'm doing, and I may be getting certified in Dr. Berg's keto program. Alright, thank you for watching, and please do like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Alright, until next time.